probably got about a 25, 30 acre grass fire.
It's a huge wall of fire.
Saw the deer and pheasant running across the backyard. And next thing we know is huge orange flames shooting up in the field next to us.
Everything is so dry, it's not taking long to burn.
Any water down there?
Didn't take long to go far and go fast.
Is it into the woods pretty far?
Yeah, it's spread quite a bit back there.
And the wind right now, we thought we had this pretty well knocked down the timber. Now we've got some more spot fires popping up and stuff that we thought we had out the first time. The water don't want to go where you want it to.
And there's abundance of deer and pheasant in there all the time.
We had 3 bucks that got hung up in this. One of them burnt. He got caught sleeping. He's burned up here.
The fire department's doing a good job back there.
No, they responded fast.
35 people and about 7 trucks.
The neighbor burns it, voluntarily burns it off, half of it every 2 years.
This year she's all done at one time.
It's so dry that it spread pretty fast.
I've got a heck of a mess on the southbound side.
For reasons that we're still not clear on yet, a van being driven by a male southbound struck another minivan, which caused a chain reaction crash involving a total of 5 vehicles.
If I could get you to go to 44, shut it down southbound.
The original impact was pretty tremendous.
As you can see, the van in the car, pretty bad shape.
I don't have a full count on it yet, but from my angle, it looks like 2 kids right now, 1 adult, and maybe another one.
Looks like 3 adults and 2 children that were injured.
We're going to need your extrication stuff first.
Marty, known from radio traffic that we had 1 patient trapped that was pinned in between the seats, very confused, in and out of consciousness, an obvious airway problem. The response time is critical, so every minute counts. It's clockwork.
It's cold.
Definitely the cold is a factor. So in a situation like this, we want to get patients out of the car as quickly as possible, as safely as possible, making sure we take the necessary precautions for spinal immobilization and then get them into a warm environment like the ambulance or the helicopter in this situation for the patient that was trapped.
Let's just get ready to lift. Give them an ETA of about 10 minutes. Dispatch, lights off. 17, you said there were no life-threatening injuries?
We've got original indications that there were more serious injuries than it turns out that there actually were.
These people are very lucky. Whenever you come out of a situation like that unharmed, you can count your blessings, that's for sure.
Meet Andy Christensen and his horse Velvet. Both are at the center of a heated land dispute with City Hall. Andy wants to build Velvet a 16,000 square foot barn. The city council says not in the heart of a growing commercial area.
So we came up with something that would be catchy and kind of fun, and Velvet needs a barn, fit that criteria.
And plastered that message everywhere. On street signs, on cars, on trailers, even on hats and t-shirts. And yes, Velvet gets a sign as well.
I think it's classy, it represents school colors.
You think it's overkill at all?
No, not at all.
But not everyone agrees.
His issue is between that building over there at City Hall and himself, not for the public on a major thoroughfare through the city.
Mark Schwartz says he and other Johnston residents are tired of the Velvet Needs a Barn campaign.
I just said, well, why don't we have a sign also?
So Schwartz took his grassroots opposition campaign and loaded it into the back of his Ford pickup.
I throw it in and out periodically, depending on what I'm doing with the truck.
The message? Velvet needs a bullet.
Anybody who makes a statement like that is truly dangerous. That's an open threat.
I've not had any negative reactions. I get a lot of thumbs up, people tooting their horns, waving, honking. See? All day long.
Christensen, however, isn't amused at what he calls a threat against his horse. And he adds, an honest disagreement is one thing, but this isn't the way to go about it.
This is exactly how simple little things happen, and all of a sudden you got horrific violence.
No, that's not true. I'm not a dangerous man. Look at me, I'm smiling.
But Christensen isn't. He's already contacted police, fearful of what might happen next.
I can't imagine anybody wanting to harm this horse.
As for Schwartz, he says his bullet campaign will cease only when Christensen and his horse throw in the rope.
Why doesn't he just go along and get along?
1, 2, 3, come on!
They come loud and looking for a fight, armed with poster board, twist ties, and tape. These campaigners are making sure dinner in Iowa never looks the same again.
It's the best way to get it ready.
Judging by the pace,
Well, we're gonna go ahead and just go over some quick rules.
you'd think the race for the White House begins at the front door.
Get set! Go!
They use ladders, they use shoulders, and the fastest feet they can find. It's a pulls no punches grab for poster position.
Is it illegal for them to be blocking those green things?
And just like in politics, people do get hurt.
It's getting tough. It's getting closer to the third round. We had a little bit of a sprain in one of the teammates, but hopefully they'll be back in a little bit.
But is it really worth it?
Just signs galore everywhere.
Staffers say it wouldn't be a race without it.
It's fun. I think a campaigner is, a competitive person.
In Des Moines, John Cahill, Channel 13 News.
Note that I'm not going to feed the ducks.
Well, they aren't ducks, they're geese.
Evan McGee and his dad have come to know the Canadian residents at Waterworks Park pretty well this summer.
Let's go sneak up on them.
Evan has been working on cracker tossing. Frankly, his delivery needs work. But there are plenty of other goose feeders out there to get the job done. Although if the geese pass on your handout, don't take it personally.
I don't have any audience, so they all went away on it.
They get free food all the time.
Yeah, I just throw it out there and maybe they'll see it.
It's no wonder geese flock to Waterworks. No predators, no hunters, and a bottomless buffet.
We can hear those airplanes going over right now, and I guess that indicates some of the concerns we have.
Waterworks is under the flight path of Des Moines International. Birds and planes are dangerous together.
I've seen some FAA photos of airplanes that have been completely destroyed, as a result of a bird strike.
Last year, there were 10,000 bird strikes reported in the United States airspace, according to the FAA.
I think that we need a goose task force here in Des Moines, much like we have a deer task force.
The DNR has been working closely with Des Moines International on this goose problem. They could disrupt nesting by destroying eggs. They could harass them with dogs, round them up, like earlier this year when they removed 250 geese from Waterworks, although at least 100 still live here.
My biggest fear is in the fall when we get migrating Canada geese and they find geese sitting here, they come down and join these groups.
Or they could ask the city to allow a one-time hunt at Waterworks. Whatever the solution, the DNR and the airport wanted to keep goose out of Waterworks permanently, which won't go over well with a lot of bird lovers.
There you go.
And Evan was finally getting the hang of it.
Good one, buddy.
Mark Toshek, Channel 13 News.
That one spun you all the way around the circle, didn't it?
Halfway across the golf course, I knew that something was wrong.
When he came to work, Chris Hickman expected everything to be just as he left it. It wasn't.
It was looking to be a good week. Get lots of rain, hopefully get it looking real good. Don't know about that now.
Overnight, someone took a shovel to the green on the 6th hole. It appears whoever it was wanted to make a mess.
Sleepy Hollow hasn't had to deal with this type of vandalism before. Their plans are to take the sod that's left over and try to reassemble the green, kind of like a jigsaw puzzle using divots. Estimates are it'll cost them between $1,000 and $5,000 to get the green back to the way it was before.
It broke my heart this morning to see this like this.
Steve, the elder Hickman, manages Sleepy Hollow. He's watched Chris groom the course and knows how hard it is for his son to see 5 summers of work destroyed in a matter of minutes.
I've tried to figure it out this morning, who have we made mad? Is it someone that used to work here? We don't know.
For now, golf will go on with the remaining 8 holes, and Chris, a horticulture major at Iowa State, expects to have the 6th green back to near normal within a few weeks.
They could have done worse, but I'm pretty glad they didn't. This'll keep me occupied for quite a while.
Mark Toshek.
The sport is growing in leaps and bounds in Des Moines. So right now about 500,000 people around the world are playing it.
Everyone plays disc golf. That's the way they're supposed to go in.
Disc golf is a sport played very similar to ball golf. Instead of a ball and clubs, you're using a disc. You have pars, bogeys.
Didn't turn. Stay out of that tree, please. Please, please.
Putters, drivers.
And really all you need is one.
I carry about 20 of them.
I carry probably 10 to 12.
Now, the goal is to put the disc in the basket in the fewest number of holes.
What makes the sport fun? The sound of the ringing chains when you hit your putt.
Iowa has the third most courses of any state in the nation.
It's a huge thing.
Iowa's probably one of the top as far as numbers of players.
Disc golf flying into Iowa. Typically, it's big communities. For Des Moines to get it is really it's an honor, and it's probably like hitting the lotto. The Disc Golf World Championships are only held once a year, of course, and this is a big time because we're getting all three of the events. It's the pro worlds, the amateur worlds, and the junior worlds. So it's kind of an incredible thing.
An addiction, really. It's that much fun.
People are seeing it, going, what's that? And then they're getting out and giving it a try.
With the World Championships, we need our companies, we need our people. Hopefully everyone plays a part and enjoys the sport for the wonderful game that it is.
Takes like 2 guys, 2 days.
2 days and dozens of boxes of light bulbs. That's all Mike Brown and Chuck Davis need to change the Metro's skyline.
I've been doing it for 6 years. He's been doing it for
about 11.
It's a labor of love their loved ones would rather they not do.
My mom was real, concerned when I first started doing it.
Understandable. After all, this is where these two start their day. 476 feet above the Metro.
There we go.
A safety harness. A rattly rooftop crane. For these two, a light bulb change defies the laws of gravity.
You hooked up, Chuck? We're gonna go down a little. It is time to do some bulbs.
For the next 2 days, these window washers will trade in their squeegees. Light bulbs are their paintbrushes now. The 35-story Ruan building is the canvas.
It's cool that we're the ones that change the light bulbs.
It's a switch made every 6 months.
We usually drop one every time we change them.
From red in the spring to white in the winter.
Drop one?
Their work outside is quick to stop work inside.
Everybody thinks we're crazy.
But in fact, these two are just skilled, we think.
When you drop a light bulb, man, you want to yell, look out.
A vertical stretch here, a horizontal stretch there. Through it all, their stomachs never turn.
When you come to work and it's fun, you can't ask for a better job than that.
For Mike and Chuck, this job is more than a paycheck. It's a view the entire Metro can take pride in.
Is that funny? Not one broken one all the way down the building.
You don't stop until you hear something go kaput. Take it away, number 20 on the end.
Coming out during the day is a lot of fun, but at night is even more fun.
Checking out girls and riding the rides and playing games.
It's an all-night party.
And look, we can see the tractors from here.
Hey, we can.
I guarantee them it will take them more than 1 day to go through and see everything.
Let's go!
Ladies and gentlemen, have a very safe trip home this evening.
Good night.
Leaving the fair, at what time is it? 11:40, but we're going to be back here in the morning.
Unit 3 Wayne, let's close.
Everything's done at midnight, and they got the highway patrol and the state fair police, and they walk through. Everybody knows it's time to go home, and it is. It's a full day.
What are you up to tonight?
Waiting for them to get done so we
Clean
can
the
clean the
grandstands.
grandstands.
Clean the grandstands. That's not fun, is it?
It takes us anywhere from 2 to 3 hours a night, but we usually have about 40 to 50 people helping us. I don't think the kids are going to be wanting to drink a beer real soon or smoke a cigarette real soon after you've cleaned up this mess.
Yeah, it's really nasty.
It's pretty good sized grounds out here, and we got to cover it all.
It's really a pig pen. When everybody leaves, it's a zoo out here.
You see more cups on the street than you do concrete and asphalt.
By 6 o'clock in the morning, it looked like nobody's ever been here. It's nice and clean.
What can I get for you?
Just an order of scrambled eggs.
The Dinner Bell, though, it's known for its hot beef dinners, and it's 24-hour service and breakfast 24 hours.
It's the best place to come to get a good full-course meal.
Jennifer! All the vendors, beer trucks, carnies come down. We'll fill up the dining room about 1.5 times on this shift.
$3.50 is your change, ma'am. Thank you.
Where are we going?
Delivering cattle over to the tie-out.
Now you just sit still a minute, and I'm going to give you a stamp that's good to mark because you're coming in after midnight. This is the only gate that's open 24 hours a day. You got tags? It's always a busy place.
I can't get back in though to get my car though, can I?
No, we're here all night till 6 in the morning. I got to be a coffee drinker to stay awake.
It's a family outfit. They give the security people for the fairgrounds free coffee and pop all night long.
Yeah, this hits a spot this time of night.
I'm kind of the night watchman, clean up, do nothing type of guy. And the only thing they won't do is bring me into bed to sleep. I've got the easiest job on the fairground.
What we do is cut the meat at night for them to work with during the day. We probably do about 700 pieces of meat a night.
I try to get in and water the flower beds and the flower planters before the crowd gets here. So I try to get in about 4 o'clock every morning. Although sometimes that means fumbling around in the dark trying to get it attached to the faucet. I get a lot more done this time of day. Sometimes it'll take me 30 or 40 minutes just to drive through the crowd to get somewhere to do a 5-minute job, so it's much better this time of day.
Usually about 4:35, that's when the bread trucks start coming in and starting to restock for another day.
We have to be off the grounds by 9 o'clock. That's just when the crowd starts showing up. We got to be out of everybody's way.
Gonna be nice this morning.
Isn't this nice?
Good morning. Need 2 adults.
2 adults, it'd be $16.
Good morning. Good morning. Is everybody ready for a good day at the fair?
There's, gosh, hundreds of people working out here all night long. Go to bed real early and come in the next day and do it again.
As it has for more than a century, this rustic red peg barn stands as a proud landmark, overlooking cattle and fields in a fertile valley just outside Martinsdale, Iowa. But there's a reason this barn is more notable than most. It's the American flag displayed in shingles on the roof, a leaky roof that owner Rick Pitt says needs to be replaced.
You know, there were a lot of different ways we could re-roof this barn. Could have put steel on it for less than half the cost of this shingled roof with the flag. And we hear a lot of discussion about rights and privileges, but I think we also have some responsibility to live like we do, and flying the flag is one of those, in my opinion.
So now these roofers are replacing the flag, shingle by shingle, star by star.
It's very important to fly your flag, and whether it's on a barn or on a pole, you know, it's the way we should be.
It means a lot to us because we're able to represent our country in a way that not everybody else can.
Sam Pitt plans one day to represent the Stars and Stripes in the military, like his father Rick did before him.
The troops ought to be supported, and part of that is you know, showing the flag. The flag it's always been there. The flag is just a symbol of so many different things, more than just freedom or independence, but our entire identity.
It's just a small thing that we can do. And if everybody pitches in, we'll all be better for it.
Better because of an old red barn, the fruits of hard labor, and working the land. Few things represent the roots of rural America as well, except perhaps the flag.
We're real fortunate in having the B-17 from Oshkosh, Wisconsin coming in here.
One of the most beautiful airplanes ever designed. I just had to come out and see it.
It's a B-17G, and that's what we flew. There's only 12
of the B-17s that are still flying in the last count.
Well, I thought now's a chance to take a ride in it.
I want to welcome you all aboard this afternoon, and hope we have a pleasant flight.
It's been 50 years since I've done it, you know. It's just something I'd like to do again.
The flight is about 20 to 25 minutes in the air, and you can move around in all the different positions.
The turret was right here, and it was a kind of a cylinder type thing that you stood on.
We at the time thought they were big. Now they look like a little Piper Cub type of airplane.
This airplane has shrunk since I used to fly in it. Of course, I'm about 30 pounds heavier. That might have something to do with it. Used to slither through here real easy.
It brings back memories. Some are good, some are not so good. They lost a lot of the good people during World War II on these planes, but did help win the war.
It did the job. History will say that, I guess.
Nice to see it again, yes.
One beautiful bird. You betcha. Yep, it was a great ride.
Wait, it's worse than the military.
They say time is precious. No place offers a better reminder of that than a hospital waiting room.
Long day for me, let alone a 9-year-old girl.
During the next 7 hours, Rebecca Greenhorn will undergo half a dozen tests. Through it all, her parents, Steve and Susan, are at her side.
You know, this is the third time she's had this particular set of tests, and the first one, of course, is when they found the Ewing sarcoma.
A tumor the size of a softball was found lodged against Rebecca's rib cage last August. Soon, the Greenhorns will learn if a year of tests, chemo, and rehab will pay off.
These tests determine what your life is going to be like for the next however long.
The race against the clock starts at dawn.
About 7:15 this morning, had blood drawn.
That is only the beginning. The Greenhorns' day will take them on countless elevators through what seem like endless corridors. At each stop, a waiting room, a clock, and another test.
We're going to do a CAT scan of Rebecca's chest.
1 hour, a CT scan. The next, an MRI. To the doctors, every test is important.
And this was a full body scan?
Yes.
Okay.
For Rebecca, the tests and the rooms begin to look the same.
That's it. You are finished.
I think I'm doing a CAT scan now. And I have a whole bunch more tests to do later.
Steve and Susan, meanwhile, wait. Newspapers and paperwork are just a mindless distraction.
Surgeries, yes. Okay, where do we begin? Man.
Over the course of the morning, the Greenhorns have watched. And they've waited as their daughter passes through one machine after the next.
I'm very, very proud of her. She's an amazing little girl, and I am very proud to call her my daughter.
When all is done, the questions time has generated will be answered. Will Dad's fourth grader act her own age?
She went from a 9-year-old child to, I'd say, a person in the late 30s, emotionally.
Will Mom find peace of mind?
But it would be a lie to say that I'm totally confident. I'm nervous because I do know that this could go any which way.
Will Rebecca get back to the life she left behind?
I want to do baseball.
As the Greenhorns leave the hospital, they have faith that the answers will come, but they know it will all take time.
Waiting for the answers, waiting for that finality of where is our life going to go.
We're going to do an old Wilson Pickett song called Mustang Sally.
It's another night at another bar with another cover band. Not playing for glory, just for fun. There are bands just like them across the city, and the state for that matter, but this group didn't follow the typical road to bar band status. appearing on this night.
I'm a counselor at Lincoln High School.
Making their first appearance.
I am the band director at Hoover.
At Bourbon Street North.
I am the girls soccer coach at Hoover High School.
Faculty Lounge.
I work at Moulton Elementary School. I teach science at Des Moines Lincoln. I'm the dean of students at Hoover High School. I teach computer science at Simpson College.
At Hoover, I'm the publications advisor.
Yes, they are educators by day, professors of funk by night. Underneath the bandana, Dana Andrews.
Pop! Hit him hard. There you go.
Hoover band director.
And I'll jump up and down on the podium when it's wonderful. I also jump up and down on the podium when it's awful.
Tighter, a little tighter, a little tighter, a little tighter. Oh, come on.
A few rooms over, Tim Pilcher working to get his kids up to speed on publishing software. Metallica plays in the background, a subtle, heavy metal hint. There's a lead guitarist in the room.
Okay, I'm on my way.
Patrolling the Hoover halls, Dean of Students, David Maxwell, who spends his days laying down the law.
What's up, man? Make sure you keep that in your hands.
And his nights laying down the beat. Faculty Lounge has grown, adding musicians and talent as word is spread through area schools. In the shadows of a bar, they really don't look like teachers. Well, maybe a little bit, but they sound good.
And it's awesome just to be able to see them. They play great music that you can dance to.
For a group that gets little practice and has to work hard to make time in their schedules for gigs, the hobby is coming along nicely.
And right now, the priorities are family first, and our careers second, and this is just for fun.
I'm not a rock star. I'm not a musician necessarily. I'm a high school teacher.
Educators first, musicians second. And the funny part is many students assume their teachers' lives just end in the classroom.
I really think that if they could see us in that light, that they would see us as more approachable, maybe even open up to us a little bit more.
Maybe someday their worlds will cross paths. Mark Tauschek, WHO TV 13 News.
40 years old, and the images are as clear as that day was in Dallas.
He just always took pictures, either whether it was slides or you know, just snapshots or movies.
On November 22nd, 1963, Maureen Hughes' husband, Bob, headed downtown for work, movie camera in hand. These images he captured on 8mm film are among the last ever recorded of President Kennedy's life.
It's the motorcade. A motorcade is coming westerly, and then it turns north.
In the background, the Texas School Book Depository, a source of interest for historians these last 4 decades.
It showed all of the windows, and then that's, you know, one possibility that there might have been somebody in those windows.
Once the motorcade turns that final corner into Dealey Plaza, Bob Hughes shuts off his camera.
And he went across the street to get a better view, and that's when the shots rang out.
Immediately, Bob starts rolling film again. This time, the images are those of panic and chaos, far different from the smiles and cheers his camera captured just seconds earlier. It's this image right after the shots are fired that has long intrigued conspiracy theorists.
All the people, except 2, are running towards the grassy knoll, which is northwest. And then there's a man and a woman. They are going absolutely the opposite direction. They're going east, walking along the sidewalk as though nothing had ever happened. It's just as odd as thing.
The film is one of only a handful from that day in Dealey Plaza. No surprise, the first to view the tape, the FBI.
This is the document for the FBI.
It wasn't until weeks after the shooting that Maureen and her husband actually got the chance to see the images. Since then, it has been to every corner of the globe and used in countless productions.
CBS News had it, Playboy had it, and then CBS News had it again. Camelot Productions used it for JFK.
4 decades after the motorcade in Dallas, Maureen can't believe these 2 minutes of 8mm still generates so much interest. For that reason, just last year, she gave the film to a museum. She says Bob would have wanted it that way.
That's why you would give the film up, was so that you could help find the truth of what really happened.
John Cahill, Channel 13 News.